Okay, welcome to the deep dive. Today, our source material is, well, it's just one single Amazon product page.
Yep, that's it. Just the one page.
But we're going to take this page and really see how much we can squeeze out of it, all the little details.
It's actually kind of amazing how much info gets packed into these online listings, if you look beyond just the headline price.
Absolutely. And the specific item we're diving into today, it's a book titled The Beginning.
And the author is Elle Wyse, Wyse.
Right. So our mission here is to look past the obvious stuff, title, price,
Yeah.
and really dig into what this single page reveals.
About the book itself, sure, but also maybe the author and even how it's presented, the context.
Exactly. What are the key insights, the takeaways we can pull out for you?
Let's unpack it.
Let's do it. So first off, the page gives us a glimpse into the story, the book's core idea.
Yeah, it mentions a young John.
Who apparently witnesses the book of Revelations unfold before his eyes. That's pretty direct.
It is. And it adds that world events are happening and cannot be stopped. Sets a tone.
Definitely an urgent one. But what's really striking there, I think, is that direct link to biblical prophecies, specifically Revelations.
Right. But the premise takes a very specific turn. It says John becomes one of the chosen and taken by the angels into a new world.
Under the kingdom of the Messiah. So it's not just interpreting Revelations. It sounds like it's a narrative journey within that framework.
Exactly. It takes these really intense themes, angels, end times, a whole new world.
Yeah, pretty big concepts.
And uses them as the foundation for this story. It grounds these fantastical spiritual elements in a specific religious view.
Okay, so that's the what of this story.
Yeah.
Moving on to the physical object you might actually hold, the format details.
Ah, yes. It lists paperback large print.
And it gives specifics too.
Yep. Print length, 87 pages.
87. Okay, that immediately tells you something. It's a pretty short read.
Definitely not a sprawling epic, no. And the dimensions are listed as 6 by 0.2 by 9 inches.
Which suggests maybe a standard paperback size. Perhaps a bit wider or taller because of the large print aspect.
Could be. So a concise package, and the publication date is right there too.
When was that?
April 2024.
Wow, okay. So this book is really new, just hit the market,
It
basically.
was recently listed, yeah. Fresh off the digital press, you could say.
We also get the standard identifiers, the ISBN 13.
979-832-344-3888.
And the ASN, Amazon's own number.
B0D2G8PYBB. Those are like the unique fingerprints, right?
Yeah.
For the print book and for Amazon's catalog.
Exactly. Language is English, obviously, and item weight, 6.6 ounces.
Which, again, kind of confirms that slim page count. It's light.
But here's a detail that really jumped out at me, the listed reading age.
Oh, yeah. That was
Yeah.
interesting. What did it say?
18 years.
5 to 18.
Wow.
Okay.
Right, that raises a pretty big question, doesn't it?
It really does. You've got this premise based on the Book of Revelations, dense, often pretty dark, complex stuff.
Yeah, apocalyptic themes.
And you're pairing that with a target audience that starts at 5 years old, all the way up to late teens.
It's quite the juxtaposition, isn't it? How do you even, adapt those kinds of themes for a 5-year-old?
Or even a 10-year-old, while still keeping an 18-year-old engaged. It makes you really wonder about the tone.
How are those complex ideas simplified or presented? Is it allegorical, maybe?
It really forces you to think about the author's approach, their skill in navigating the huge age range and, frankly, sensitive subject matter.
Which actually leads us pretty neatly into the about the author section for Elle Wyse.
Right. What did that tell us?
Well, first thing, her background seems to connect directly back to the book's themes.
How so?
She's described as a devoted cardinal with the Ecumenical Order of Christ.
Okay, so a strong faith background. That definitely informs the writing choices here, you'd think.
Seems likely. We also learned she's British, from Torquay in Devon.
Right. Gives a bit of geographical context. And the bio shares a personal journey, too, doesn't it?
It does. It mentioned she had a love affair with the written word early on, but then life kind of pulled her away from writing for a while.
Yeah, I remember reading that. And her passion was reignited in her 50s.
Exactly. So this book, The Beginning, is presented as part of that return, her creative renaissance, they call it.
That's a nice narrative. Finding your way back to something you love later in life adds a personal layer to the work.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And this section also lists other titles attributed to her, other books she's published.
Oh, right. What else has she written?
Let's see, Beyond the Veil, which sounds, maybe spiritual, metaphysical.
Could be. What else?
The Luminescent Path. Sounds like maybe a guide or a journey type of book. Then there's one called The Sands of Serac.
Okay.
That was described as an epic tale transporting readers to distant realms. So maybe fantasy.
Sounds like it. Quite different.
And finally, The Interstellar Dawn, the Unity Chronicles series, which definitely hints at science fiction.
Wow, okay. That's quite a range. From biblical themes and spiritual stuff to epic fantasy and sci-fi.
Yeah, it suggests she's not just sticking to one genre since reigniting her writing. She's exploring quite diverse creative path.
Shows versatility for sure.
Hmm.
And maybe a pretty active output if she's covering all that ground.
Yeah, seems that way. Okay, let's shift focus slightly now. Let's look at the Amazon listing itself. The practical stuff, the transaction details.
Right. The price for the paperback.
Listed at $20. $20 even.
Okay. And right next to that, you usually see the shipping stuff.
Yep, it highlights fast, free shipping with Amazon Prime. Gives you those estimated delivery dates.
And the usual hook-free shipping on orders over $35. Trying to get you to bundle, linking it to Amazon's whole platform.
Right, and it's shipped from and sold by Amazon.com.
Which implies, standard Amazon process, fulfillment, returns policies, all that.
It does mention a 30-day refund replacement policy. Standard reassurance.
Yeah, and the bit about secure transactions, encrypting your payment info. Boilerplate stuff for e-commerce, but still part of the picture.
Now, one of the most revealing things on any Amazon page, often, is the reviews section.
Ah, yes. Customer reviews. What did we find there?
Or, maybe what didn't we find? Under customer reviews, it shows, 0%. Across the board.
So explicitly no customer reviews yet.
None. The page explains how ratings work, but for this specific book, the beginning, there's just no social proof there yet. No feedback from other readers on this page.
And that absence, that's data too, right? Especially for a book published back in April 2024.
Exactly. It could mean a few things, maybe limited sales so far, or perhaps early readers just haven't, gotten around to leaving feedback yet.
Could be either. It also lists Kindle options, I noticed.
It does. Potentially $0, maybe with Kindle Unlimited, or $9 to buy outright. Readable on various devices via the app.
So it shows the digital side is there too, with different pricing, a cheaper way in than the print version.
Right. And finally, these pages often have those sections suggesting other things you might like. Frequently purchased items.
With fast delivery?
Yeah.
What titles were listed alongside this one? That can be telling.
Let's see. Aurora's Angel, The Seer, Sunshine, The Return, Book 1, The Female, and April Storm.
Okay, that's an interesting mix. What does that tell us?
Well, it gives us a hint about how Amazon's algorithm is maybe categorizing this book based on what other customers who look at this book also look at or buy.
It's like algorithmic curation, isn't it? It seems to group it with a mix that might include fantasy, maybe some spiritual or paranormal titles, some general fiction too, perhaps.
Yeah, it suggests the perceived audience, or at least the browsing behavior, overlaps with readers interested in those kinds of themes, even without any direct reviews to go on.
So it provides some external context based purely on platform behavior, clues about its potential market position, maybe?
Okay. So let's try and pull all these threads together. What have we really learned just by digging into this one Amazon page?
Well, we've pieced together a pretty decent picture of the beginning, I think. We know the premise deeply rooted in the Book of Revelations, featuring angels, a journey to a new world.
Got the tangible facts, too. Format. Shirt. Large print paperback. Published very recently, April 2024.
And we got that fascinating glimpse into the author, Elle, Wyse, her strong faith background as a cardinal, her British roots.
And that really compelling personal story returning to writing later in life in her 50s. Plus, hints of her broader creative work across different genres.
We also looked closely at the listing itself, the whole ecosystem around it, the $20 price point, how it plugs into Prime delivery and Amazon fulfillment.
And crucially, that revealing lack of customer reviews right now, which, tells its own little story about where this book is at this moment.
It really does show how much information can be embedded in just one source like this if you take the time to really look closely and connect the dots.
It's definitely more than just a sales page. It's a data point, isn't it? About the book, the author, the market context.
Absolutely. Every little piece adds to the overall understanding.
So for you, the listener, here's something to maybe mull over. Circling back to that really striking detail we found.
The reading age?
Yeah. Given that the book's focus is so clearly on themes from the Book of Revelations, how does that incredibly wide-stated reading age 5 to 18 years, how does that affect your expectations?
What does combining that kind of, frankly, heavy subject matter with such a broad target audience suggest about the book's specific approach, or maybe its purpose?
And just how challenging must that be for an author writing effectively for a 5-year-old and an 18-year-old in the same text? Something to think about maybe if you consider how books find, or sometimes struggle to find, their audience.